Some people have a real fear of these kinds of questions where there's like words we turn into math. I will be honest, by 11th grade, you kind of really need to know this, especially when we get to words like product. I'll always have a student who asks, like, what is that again? You know, it means multiply, but I'm not going to be kind here. You should know that. This is like your left and your right hand, okay? This is like north and south on a map. These are basic words that are fundamental to mathematics or to existing in the world. You kind of have to have these down. If you don't, that's not a good sign. That's on you. So try to learn these. We have sum for addition, difference for subtraction, product for multiplication. Quotient is the word for division, but we don't see that one as often, so not as big of a deal. But we then can turn this into an equation here if we want. I'll show you another way to do it, but the product of a positive number x, so x times the number that is 8 more than x. So 8 more than, again, we need to be able to be comfortable with this. That means we're adding. So I would write this as x plus 8 is 180. What is the value of x? So at this point, if you are kind of better at math, your algebra brain might take over and you're going to start to kind of do some math here. So x squared plus 8x, we're going to distribute, is 180. You got to subtract 180 in order to get this to a quadratic equal to 0 so we can solve it, right? So we have to factor, and what multiplies to negative 180 and adds to 8? Oh my God. How about positive 10 and negative 8? So, right, 10, oh, nope, doesn't work. See, I'm already messing up. We need, 18 is what I want to write. Yeah. So positive 18 and negative 10, right? So 18 times negative 10 is negative 180, and 18 minus 10 is positive 8. So that gives us x is equal to negative 18, and x is equal to 10. And we know that x is a positive number, so that means it has to be 10, and that's it, B. But that's a lot of work. Honestly, I've got a bunch of ways we can make this simpler. First of all, once you come up with this equation, that's the hard part. Just throw that thing in Desmos. It's going to solve it for you, right? So x times x plus 8 is equal to 180. And we can just throw that all in one line. And we're going to get vertical lines now where the answer is. So remember, we want a positive number. So just scroll to the right until you see it. And there it is. It's at 10. So you're done. That's the answer. So if it were me, that's what I would have done, because I know if I can find a way to get rid of algebra, I'm going to do it. And Desmos is great at making a lot of algebra disappear. So that's really useful. But honestly, my real first instinct here was to guess and check, because, you know, these answer choices very much limit us to the point where we don't really need an equation. We can just think about it in terms of the numbers themselves. So the product, let's just say here, the product of 10 and the number that is 8 more than 10. I think that's a lot easier to think about and just right away be like, oh yeah, there you go. The product of 10 and 18 is 180. Yes, that is true, right? If we had tried that with any other answer, it wouldn't work. So the product of the positive number 5 and the number that is 8 more than 5, so 5 plus 8 is 13. 5 times 13 is what, 50 plus 15, so 65? No, it doesn't work. And we could do that with all the answer choices, but the beauty of guess and check is it'll work itself out. My advice is start with a number that's in the middle. That way, if it's wrong, you can kind of adjust. It's too high, it's too low, and I generally start with B anyway, so I would have been lucky here. So don't forget that, yes, in math class in school, everything has to be done kind of the way your teacher wants, right? So you're not going to have a lot of opportunities to let a calculator solve equations for you, to guess and check answers. We don't get a lot of multiple choice tests on our high school math classes, but the SAT does not give you extra points for doing it the way your teacher would like. Just do it the way that gets it right. And so if you get bothered by all these words and all these potential places to put a variable, then just start off with a number, right? Start off with one of the numbers from the choices and see what happens. Even if we did not have choices here, you could have guessed and checked. You could have just said, like, 10 is a nice number to work with. Let's just start with that. And then, yes, it happens to work. But again, you could have adjusted based on what you got if it was wrong. So always try to find ways to minimize algebra. I think that this is kind of a waste of time to do this algebraically. So either with the calculator or with just some guess and check, you're probably going to get this faster.